Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Before we jump into the video, a quick context for you is that I've already shared 2 behind the scenes videos from other Terminator movies on this channel. And honestly, you guys love breaking down how James Cameron mixed raw engineering with filmmaking madness. So today, we're going back to where it all started, back in 1984, when CGI was basically non-existent. The Terminator didn't rely on computers or digital shortcuts. Instead, James Cameron used miniatures, stop motion, puppets, prosthetics, pyrotechnics, and pure filmmaking creativity to build a future that felt cold, brutal, and terrifyingly real. Every explosion, every machine, every glowing red eye. You're not watching pixels, you're watching real physical effects pushed to their limits. So let's break down how the Terminator 1984 created some of the most iconic moments scene by scene. Let's start the video with one of the most intense moments in the entire film. Arnold's Terminator, sitting inside a massive truck, relentlessly chases Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor through the city until Kyle detonates the truck at the very last second. On screen, it looks like a full-scale vehicle explodes into a fireball, but in reality, blowing up a real truck inside a city wasn't possible, and in 1984, modern CGI didn't exist either, so James Cameron and his VFX team went old school. For this sequence, they built a highly detailed miniature truck model, designed to look identical to the real vehicle. Inside and around this small model, the team carefully rigged around 42 individual pyrotechnic charges. These weren't random explosions. The charges were placed in a specific pattern so the blast wouldn't happen all at once, but would travel through the truck's structure, just like a real fuel explosion. When the explosion was triggered, it lasted only 3/8 of a second in real life, but the shot was filmed using high-speed cameras, so when played back at normal speed, the explosion felt slower, heavier, and far more destructive. To make the flames look thick and massive, the team used special fuels and materials that produced dense, rolling fire instead of quick flashes. The explosion was also designed to move from the rear of the truck toward the front, creating the illusion of a chain reaction moving through the fuel system. After shooting the miniature blast, the filmmakers then shot close-up live fire footage using a real junkyard truck cab. Real metal, real glass, real flames. These close-ups were lately optically composited with the miniature explosion footage, making it feel like one continuous full-scale disaster. Because of safety and legal limits, a real explosion was impossible, but through scale illusion, lighting, smoke, camera angles, and editing, a tiny model was transformed into one of cinema's most memorable action moments. If you've seen this movie, hopefully you'll remember the brief but unforgettable future war vision that appears before the film's midpoint. Kyle Reese sits inside a moving car, haunted by a nightmare of the future, a world reduced to ashes, where giant machines crush human skulls beneath their tracks and flying hunter-killers patrol the skies above. What makes this scene so powerful is that it shows almost nothing, yet tells you everything. In just a few seconds, James Cameron communicates an entire apocalypse. And the most impressive part? This sequence was created at a time when CGI simply wasn't an option. Instead of building a real battlefield, Cameron designed the scene as a symbolic and chaotic glimpse of the future, meant to trigger the audience's imagination rather than explain everything outright. To achieve this, the VFX team relied entirely on miniatures, practical effects, and old-school filmmaking techniques. The destroyed city, broken roads, skull-filled ground, and massive machines were all tabletop-scale miniature models. In reality, these sets were small enough to fit on a work table. But through careful filmmaking, they were transformed into a nightmarish war zone. To sell the illusion, the crew filled the set with thick smoke, drifting dust, sparks, and flashing lights, creating constant movement in the frame. The camera was placed at low angles, making the machines feel enormous and dominant while keeping the environment dark and oppressive. This technique was essential in an era without digital effects. It allowed small objects to feel massive on screen. The chain thread ground machine was designed to feel unstoppable, slow, heavy, and merciless. Inside the miniature model, the team installed a hidden motor system that physically rotated the chain mechanism. The movement was intentionally filmed slightly slower than real time. When playback at normal speed, the machine appeared heavier, more powerful, and far more dangerous. The skulls being crushed under the chain were not real bones, but foam and resin replicas, engineered to break apart easily. The camera was placed extremely close to the ground, capturing the cracking, dust, and vibration as the chains rolled forward. Later, aggressive sound design was added to amplify the brutality of the moment. In some shots, the ground machine was also animated using stop motion, giving its movement a slightly jerky, unnatural rhythm. That imperfection wasn't a flaw. It made the machine feel even more mechanical, cold, and inhuman. The flying hunter killers were handled very differently. These were also miniature models, suspended in the air using thin wires and transparent rods. Instead of fast, chaotic movement, Cameron chose to make them slow and deliberate, like silent predators scanning a dead world. The machines glide left to right, or gently rise and fall, never rushing, giving them an eerie sense of intelligence and control. Smoke, fire flashes, and blinking lights were layered into the background to create the illusion of an active war zone. The suspension wires were later removed using optical compositing. In a few shots, slight stop-motion animation was added to the hunter killers as well, preventing their movement from looking too smooth. The subtle stiffness made them feel mechanical rather than alive, cold machines enforcing extinction. With just a handful of shots and practical effects, Cameron convinced the audience that humanity had already lost. After the truck explosion, the Terminator's human flesh burns away, revealing the cold metal endoskeleton underneath. In 1984, this reveal shocked audiences, and not a single frame used CGI. James Cameron partnered with legendary effects artist Stan Winston to build a fully practical Terminator robot. First, Arnold Schwarzenegger's life cast was taken so the robot's proportions would perfectly match his body. The shiny chrome look wasn't real metal. It was created using vacuum metallization, a special coating that reflected light, like steel on the camera. For full-body shots, the endoskeleton was created as a stop-motion puppet. Crew members attached steel rods behind and beside the puppet, moving it frame by frame. This gave the Terminator its signature jerky, non-human movement. Lighting and camera position were locked down perfectly, so the robot felt heavy and real. For close-ups, the team used a half-body animatronic Terminator, mounted on a crew member using a hidden harness. The lower body was never in frame, allowing human walking motion to sell the illusion, while the robotic head, chest, blinking eyes, and jaw were fully animatronic and remotely controlled. This hybrid of human performance and mechanical design created a Terminator that felt alive but completely soulless. One of the most shocking and iconic moments in the movie happens after a brutal fight, when a bullet damages the Terminator's eye, revealing the glowing red mechanical eye hidden beneath human skin. This is the moment where the illusion completely breaks. Arnold's character is no longer just a killer. He is exposed as a machine wearing a human disguise. And once again, the scene was achieved without CGI. To create this effect, James Cameron worked closely with legendary effects artist Stan Winston. The team began by taking a live cast of Arnold Schwarzenegger's face, ensuring every detail, bone structure, skin texture, proportions was perfectly matched. The red eye itself was a small but complex mechanism, designed with an internal motor and light source. In close-up shots, it produced a sharp, glowing red stare that felt lifeless and inhuman. Early in the film, when the Terminator finally locates Sarah Connor and opens fire, the movie erupts into chaos. Kyle Reese grabs Sarah, shoves her into a car, and the chase begins. Panic, gunfire, and relentless pursuit all unfolding in real time. What makes this sequence so intense is that none of it relies on CGI. Every explosion, impact, and stunt was done practically. Despite the film's tight budget, James Cameron shot this sequence with a raw, guerrilla-style approach. Instead of controlled studio sets, many of the shots were filmed on real streets, often without official permits. This forced the crew to work fast, setting up shots quickly, filming multiple takes in rapid succession, and moving locations before attracting attention. When the Terminator reaches the car and smashes the front windshield with his hand, it isn't just acting. Inside the vehicle, the crew installed a hidden hydraulic ram positioned directly behind the glass. At the precise moment, the ram applied controlled force, shattering the windshield in one cue. The glass itself was a specially treated safety windshield, designed to break dramatically without producing dangerous shards. Camera angles were carefully chosen, so it appeared as if the Terminator physically smashed through the glass with raw strength. Because this was a one-take moment, timing between the actor, camera crew, and effects team had to be perfectly synchronized. The Terminator is proof that creativity will always beat technology. With miniatures, puppets, stop motion, and pure imagination, James Cameron created a world that still feels terrifying decades later. No CGI, no shortcuts, just filmmakers pushing practical effects to their absolute limit. If you enjoy this deep dive into the making of Terminator, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Thank you for watching. Let me know which behind the scenes moment surprised you the most.